She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime. She should not be allowed to run. And just in that respect, I say it's rigged, because she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
Well, it has been a year since the U.S. presidential debates between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The personal attacks and what many called the depths of verbal depravity still shock us even 1 year later. Well, today, the U.S. president, in one of his tweets, proved that there is a lot of adult behavior that is still missing in action. Today, Trump retweeted this image of the cover of Hillary Clinton's new book about her campaign. Now, the book is entitled What Happened? Next to it, a cover with Trump's face and the title, I Happened. Now, this all seems even more sophomoric when you compare and contrast with the campaigns ahead of Germany's national election taking place later this month. If you saw last night's televised debate between the Chancellor candidates, Angela Merkel and Martin Schulz, and you then think about Trump and Clinton on stage last summer, well, what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is the great debate divide. More on that in just a moment. But first, a look at that debate last night, the TV duel that turned into more of a TV duet.
Martin Schulz hasn't given up. He's still putting up a fight in the election campaign, despite the fact that the current poll results show Angela Merkel as the more popular Chancellor candidate after Sunday's TV debate. On Monday, in a Bavarian beer tent, Schulz went for a full frontal attack on Merkel's policies. There is someone who wants to administer the past, and this someone is Angela Merkel. And there is someone who wants to shape our future, and his name is Martin Schulz, and he'll tell you how it's done. Schulz was less aggressive during the TV debate, but he still tried to rattle Merkel. First, he attacked her immigration policy. He accused the Chancellor of opening the borders 2 years ago without having cleared it up with Germany's European partners first. The Chancellor defended herself. Sometimes in life there are moments, even in the life of a government leader, where you must make decisions. And I had lost all hope that Viktor Orban would change his mind. Schulz then criticized Merkel's position on Turkey. He surprised her. If I were Chancellor, that is, assuming the people of Germany give me a mandate, after I'm sworn in, I will suggest that the European Council end all accession talks with Turkey. Otherwise, there was a harmonious mood in the only TV debate between Merkel and Schulz. The press called it a clear 0-0 outcome, giving Merkel a slight advantage. The smaller parties were disappointed, saying the debate was more cozy than cutthroat. I got the feeling, at least during the first hour, that at any moment we can expect the two of them to fall into each other's arms, with tears in their eyes, saying, I didn't mean it that way. Don't be angry at me. At this debate, the big loser was the future of our country because they focused on backward-looking policies. Only 3 more weeks left. Then Schulz and Merkel will face the final battle when the voters decide.
All right, to take us into that great debate divide tonight, I've got 2 people here at the big table with me. To my right is Charlotte Potts, our political correspondent, and to her right, Julius von der Laar, a veteran of the Obama 2008-2012 campaigns. It's good to have both of you here. Charlotte, I want to look at a tweet that you retweeted yesterday from the historian Timothy Garton Ash. Maybe we can show that now to our viewers. He writes, I'm watching impressively serious, a well-informed and un-Trumpian debate between Merkel and Schulz. We know that he was impressed by what he saw last night. Why did you retweet that?
Well, I think it's very interesting. The debates in Germany are so different from those in the US. If you look at the US, it's more entertaining. It's very driven by personalities and by the characters of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And here in Germany, really the focus was much more on content than on the two personalities of Merkel and Schulz. We didn't learn anything about their personal background. And I retweeted that tweet because I agree with Garden Ash. I think it was a welcome reminder of how a political debate in a stable democracy can look like.
Do you agree, Julius? Did what we see last night, was that adult politics compared to juvenile politics that we had last year?
I mean, contrast what you saw last night to what we saw a year ago when Donald Trump essentially said on the debate stage that he would lock Hillary Clinton up if he was elected president, right? I mean, imagine Martin Schulz saying that if he becomes chancellor, he would lock Merkel up. That just doesn't happen. So there was a lot of substance, but at the same time, a lot of people said it was dull, and I tend to agree. There was a lot of numbers, and there was a lot of, like, nerding out about some of that stuff.
Yeah, nerding out is a word. I mean, even we tweeted here before the debate, you know, for you political nerds out there, here's where you can watch the debate in English. I called the TV duel, as it was called here, you see it right there in German, das TV-Duell. I said it went from being a TV duel to being a TV duet because they agreed on almost everything. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, they agree because they've worked together in a grand coalition for 4 years. So, of course, they don't differ on many issues anymore. But what I find interesting, when you look at both party programs of the SPD and of the CDU, if you compare that, there are actually not that big of differences anymore, probably less than ever since the 50s. And that really showed in the debate yesterday.
Those are the platforms. Julius, I mean, you've done campaigns.
I mean, campaigns and debates are about winning, right? That's what this is about. It's not about sort of this kumbaya moment that you have on the debate stage. Martin Schulz is behind in the polls, and he needed to have a big debate night. And so I was surprised that there was more confrontation. You know, you can talk about substance, but you still have to have a couple of zingers in there that will be repeated over and over again.
Yeah, and there weren't any. I mean, there were opportunities for him to say, this is where I'm different, and this is where you're bad, or you fail us, and he didn't do it. Well, how do you explain that?
Well, I think, you know, the format is completely different. In the debates in the U.S., especially in the Republican primaries, there were 18 people up on that debate stage, and there was just, you know, a minute here and a minute there, and just respond right after. Over here, we had 4 moderators that just didn't allow for any of that. The rules that were agreed upon by Merkel and Schulz ahead of time didn't allow for that. So, you know, still, Schulz should have had the opportunity, and he should have taken the incentive to go after it much harder.
I mean, you know, also in the United States, there is a commission that basically orchestrates and deals with the debates. The candidates, they come in and they say, yes, we'll do that, but they're not in control. Here, the reporting has been that Merkel said, I'll do only one debate. The debate has to be this format, or else I won't attend. Is that one reason we had kind of a sleeping pill of a debate?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, otherwise you would have had 2 debates, I guess, and 2 moderators per debate. So it would have allowed for follow-up questions from the moderators, maybe going a little bit deeper into the issues. But we have to keep in mind, I mean, German politics are just not as exciting and entertaining as US politics. It's just a matter of our political system, too, that is based on compromise rather than on confrontation, what we've seen in the US in those debates.
I'd like for us maybe to take a listen again to an exchange between Trump and Clinton from last year, just to remind us of what level we were coming from last summer.
Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
The next segment, we're continuing the subject of...
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
I mean, okay, that's entertaining. Maybe it's bad for the political system, but Julius, to pick up on your point, Donald Trump has been told this is what you have to do to win. Maybe. Are you saying that Martin Schulz last night should have had that in his ear?
Well, I think German voters, and Angela Merkel actually made that point. She said, this is what you're doing right now when they were talking about Turkey. Yeah. She said, you're electioneering right now, and this is not about the substance. I think, you know, the way she portrays herself and the way she answers those questions, people trust her. And that's actually what the polling right after the debate said as well, that she is trustworthy, that she's in control of the issues. So I don't think that style of Trumpish going after her would have worked for Martin Schulz.
What about the question last night? They were both asked. It's Sunday. We're talking about religion. So were you in church today? I was surprised.
Yeah, they were very quick on jumping on it, right? Saying both attended church in the past week. I found that very surprising because religion does not play that big of a role in Germany at the moment.
Especially in politics,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. At the moment, no.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw somebody tweet it. He said, well, I drove by a church last night, and it's retweeted all over. That, maybe there was an opportunity to sort of bring a personal anecdote, and that's what they tried, but that had absolutely nothing to do with substance.
Yeah. Amazing evening. We'll see if the yawn factor increases as we get closer to Election Day. Julius van der Laar, Charlotte Potts, both of you, thank you very much. We appreciate you being on the day.